Hi, hello, welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome. So, we are all well aware of what's going on with the CONjuring house and Jacqueline Nunez, the current owner. If you are not, or maybe you're living under a rock, basically, she has been shown, or the house basically has been shown on different news outlets. Also, Facebook, she has been almost posting daily, just random ass posts. Sometimes there's a bunch, or most of the time, there are a lot of edits on those posts. If you go back the next day, even hours later, there have been at least 20 edits to the post. There are also a lot of like text message receipts being shown from like numerous people that used to work there or had some type of relation to the CONjuring house. And well, if you did not know, there was actually like a podcast on YouTube that went live and had some things to say, and they kind of wanted to clear the air with some rumors, allegations, things just circulating in the air that they thought they should address, because they are a paranormal type of podcast. So they thought, hey, it's been a few weeks, we've kind of tried to let this chill out, but you know, our podcast does have to do a lot with the paranormal and the CONjuring house. We know the owner and things like that, so we have to address it at some point. All right, so the panel actually consisted of Aaron, Steve, Corey, and Jen. They were prior owners of the CONjuring house. And last but not least, Cody and Satori. They were also on the panel, and they also shared their thoughts on the live stream. Let's get into it. And you know what? Stay tuned till the end, because I actually found a news article that was quite interesting. All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys is actually Jen and Corey. They were prior owners of the CONjuring house, and they were also accused of siphoning money from the booking site. So they had some things to say about this.
So moving on.
No, she accused us of siphoning money out of her account, just out of the booking site. I apologize, out of the booking site.
All right, so they were accused of actually allegedly stealing money from the booking site of the current owner. And then this is one of the CONjuring house Facebook pages. I mean, it was edited and like changed a lot, but basically this is where like they were kind of referring to: terrible people hijacked our Facebook site, my payment services, our emails, my phone messages, voicemails, and have done other egregious, I hope I'm saying that right, and criminal things that will all come out. I will expect Rhode Island to prosecute. And then these are the text messages. I'm not sure if you had seen this before, at least for myself. I hadn't seen this prior. But these are the text messages between the owner and the Heinzens, Jen and Corey. They were previous owners of the CONjuring house. Why the F is blank leaving a voicemail for Corey regarding my effing email about who's been messing with my blank account, including missing money. You have no effing idea what is about to happen to you. I'm going to find out who is doing this to me and why it was being done to Eastern State Penitentiary. So for that, at least, it's all alleged. We really don't know what's been going on. It's a lot of accusations that are being thrown left and right. Someone or something is attacking paranormal businesses. Maybe you know something, maybe you don't. I don't know. You're lying, Jennifer. You and Corey were deactivated, so there is no reason why after an email from me expressing concerns with someone messing with my account that they would leave Corey a voicemail. I will be finding out everything. So correct me if I'm wrong, but if they had already resigned, like they had mentioned prior in this live stream, and they had no access anymore, how would they be, logging in and like doing things like this? I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me. And it's all alleged to this point. It's kind of like he say, or they're saying, she's saying, he's saying, all that stuff. He say, she say. And then this is what they said back to her: hold yourself, we did nothing, no idea why they called us. I assume it's because he was on blank before. We have nothing to do with blank, nor we have any idea what you are accusing us of. We thought we would be nice and forward that to Kevin, as it is addressed to you, not us. So we are well aware that a lot of accusations, allegations, threats have been kind of thrown left and right to different people. So I'm not too 100%, I'm not super surprised, but I did think it was interesting. I just wanted to show you guys in case you hadn't seen all that already. So let's continue on and let's talk about Satori and Cody. They were asked some questions by Ken, so let's see what was said.
So now I'm going to torch you two guys with some things that I've heard, Cody and Satori. Okay, so you guys did a couple of seasons of Ghost Hunters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're doing your method on TV 2 or 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
You guys would do episodes. Great, wonderful. Everybody's just blown away. We all know how we all feel about it, and we're going to die on that hill because we know better, and that's fine. regardless of what you think, this is not a symposium on any kind of method. But eventually you got to do Sam and Colby, big internet stars, right? Maybe the biggest out there. Question for you. How did you arrive at that decision, and did you do it on anybody's behest?
So to put it frankly, we didn't really know we were doing Sam and Colby until Sam and Colby were there. We were told that we were going to be caretaking that week, and we were fine with that. We're used to content creators and things like that. It was brought up to us a couple times, just in like, oh, would you guys be willing to do this at some point? Think on it, kind of that mindset. And to be honest, we didn't really, and I'm not going to say like anything against them, it was just we didn't really think of wanting to do it. Like, it wasn't something that we were like, oh, we gotta do this YouTube video.
And there was kind of this rule that the owner had made, that caretakers weren't really supposed to be in content creator videos. Definitely not, because you have to give them a tour and everything else. And she made it very clear to us that caretakers were not to be in videos.
Someone comes on a night that you're the caretakers, that they're not going to do, you're not going to be doing this for them. That was set policy at some point.
And our rule was we couldn't do it at all for guests.
Unless it was told to us that we should. That was sort of the rule there. It was, we don't do it. It's not while we're working, because we're making money working. We didn't want to make money off of it anyway. Like, you're not really supposed to do it until it was somebody that was desired to see that, and then we were told to do it.
Why did you feel you had to acquiesce to that request? So in other words, to break it down, what you're telling me is you're not going to do it for the paying guests. The paying guests are going to sign a waiver with prior notice that they're not to approach you to do it. You're not going to do it. You're going to give a tour. You're going to watch after groups like any other caretaker. Mm-hmm. You're not doing this stuff. So what was the exception to that?
I will say, and Ken, you probably are very well aware of this by your past phone calls with her.
Me to back off on this, you were asked to perform.
So basically, Ken had asked them, how did this start, and like, why or who made up the decision for them to be on the Sam and Colby video? Like, why of all, basically collaborations or even like YouTube channels that had been there, or like content creators that had been to that Conjuring house, why Sam and Colby, and why that specific video? Why did they want to be featured in that video? Satori and Cody mentioned that they did not choose to do this. They didn't really want to be put on YouTube and didn't want to do the whole YouTube thing, but they were kind of pressured in a way and pushed to actually be featured on Sam and Colby. They didn't even know that. Allegedly, they did not know that they were going to be on schedule when Sam and Colby were going to be there for the whole week. A little odd to me, because you would think you'd kind of know the schedule ahead of time if you are working there. Even like, like at least for me, like whenever you work somewhere, you want to know the schedule for the next few weeks, maybe know what time, things like that. Especially if it's always rotating and changing, you would think you want to know, but I don't know, I wasn't there. So Satori and Cody even mentioned that it was a weird rule, but essentially it was already written where they could not be doing this method for anyone. If people had asked for them, if people had, let's just say, set up an investigation, paid the money, and they're going to be there next week or like a month from now, they couldn't ask to have Satori and Cody there do their method for them. They shouldn't be asking those things. It was kind of a weird rule. Yeah, so it was like a set policy and like one of those weird rules. And they mentioned that rules kept changing, which I'm not too surprised about, but it was like a set policy where people could not just be asking Satori and Cody to be doing this. In a way, they were kind of told to do this method for certain channels, maybe the bigger ones. And they go on to, because there's a lot, this whole live stream was like 2 hours, but essentially they did feel like they were kind of like a puppet show or like a show on display for people to come watch, and like, they didn't feel like they had a choice in this. I'm gonna show a little clip from Mythos, but if you are not aware, when they were talking about all this and say they didn't really want to do the whole YouTube thing, the first thing that popped up in my head was actually the Exploring with Josh video that was never featured, but Mythos and I believe Back to the Bone Paranormal actually got a hold of this footage because Josh sent it over to them. But essentially Cody and Satori had actually reached out to Josh. They were going to be there at a certain house or certain location, already doing their thing, and they wanted to show him something interesting, something cool that they could do, like their gift essentially. So it's very weird to me that they're saying that they didn't want to do this whole YouTube thing. They didn't really care about being featured on like YouTube channels, content creators, things like that. But then they reached out to Josh, knowing he's like a very big paranormal YouTube guy, to be featured. I don't know, it just seemed weird. But here, let me just play the clip.
And obviously, I've been doing ghost hunting, so I've been meeting ghost hunters and things like that who says this person's actually legit and their house is actually haunted. I'm actually going there as well that same day.
The person who was asking him to come here was...
mind you, I never met this person as well either. Her name is Satori, and she's like, dude, just come, like, let's go.
I wonder if she was so desperate for Josh to go there because they've already done their research on him and don't want it to be a wasted effort remembering all of that info. Plus, he's got a big channel, a big following, so him showing them off could be great for them. So once Josh gets inside, we get the first official hey guys and stuff with everyone in there, the owners of the house and Cody and Satori.
As you can see, they were with exploring with Josh the whole video. You would think if they did want to do the whole YouTube thing, they would have kind of told Josh, hey, you know, can you just put the camera away? We just wanted to show you we don't care about the like being on camera, being on YouTube. But like they didn't seem to really care about the cameras around. Keep in mind they were also featured on Ghost Hunters, I believe twice if I remember correctly. I remember seeing them and I thought, okay, interesting. If you don't want to be put in the public or put in like on, you know, the shows or YouTube, things like that, then why would you be featured on Ghost Hunters? You didn't have to, you know, obviously like that is your dad's show, but I'm just saying that's very interesting to me. You were on Ghost Hunters twice, you didn't care about the YouTube thing, but then you allegedly, you had, if I remember correctly, you had reached out to Exploring with Josh and then so he could come and like see this whole magic trick that you guys do. Yes, you are not being fooled. She is wearing flip-flops when she had mentioned in the Project Fear interview that she did not want her feet out there. But I mean, there was a camera, she saw the camera and it was caught on camera, so her feet are already out there and they already are or were on IG as well. Okay, so Satori and Cody were trying to like be very mindful and careful with their words. And then Corey, prior owner of the Conjuring house, had some words to say as well about how he felt the method being done at the Conjuring house and we had seen with the interactions between the current owner and Satori and Cody. So let's hear what he had to say.
Corey can speak to what he wants to, what he's
That's
witnessed
a
and he
whole
wants
nother
to.
instance too, if he wants to talk about
Yeah,
that.
I'll jump on the grenade on that one because I was absolutely appalled by it. Like anybody that was there, we were doing a sizzle reel for something, and the owner basically told Cody and Satori, "You will go up and do your method for these people." And Satori had told her like the entire day, "I'm not comfortable doing it right now. I don't feel up to it. I don't feel up to it." And the owner was getting pissed. And she's like, you're gonna do it. And basically just forced them to go up there. And then she came down, Satori's blatting and bawling. And, you know, there's other caretakers trying to take care of her and stuff. And the owner's too busy with her little entourage trying to do whatever she wants to do, and absolute bullshit.
So as you can see, Corey had his own thoughts to say about the situation, and the interesting thing to me is that Satori and Cody felt like they couldn't disagree or tell the current owner that no, we don't want to do our method, or like they felt pressure, they felt like pushed and all that stuff. But to me, at least for me, in my opinion, why couldn't you just leave? I get it, you know, the Conjuring house, beautiful place to be working at, all that stuff, right? You're super into the paranormal, completely understand. But I mean, your father is Jason Hawes. You could have probably easily gotten a job somewhere else, especially if it was such a toxic workplace. You know, did it ever cross your mind to at least maybe look somewhere else, you know, regardless of like the Conjuring house being like such an amazing place? I feel like you could have at least attempted to leave at any point in time, you know, especially if you were really, really against not doing your method, specifically for like certain content creators. If you didn't want to keep being posted on like different YouTube videos, then like, why not leave at any certain time? Or like, you know what I mean? If you really felt that pressured and pushed and things like that, why not leave? Okay, so the next clip I'm going to show you guys, it's very short, but to me, I found it very interesting. And I have another clip I'm going to show you right after, probably, because I feel like it's going to tie in. Ken is talking about a situation that happened about a year ago. I think after some type of event, I don't remember the name, but he'll say it right now. But essentially, it was a little altercation that Satori and the current owner had after Satori had posted like a TikTok or something, and the current owner, Jacqueline, did not agree with it, and she was not okay with it.
We, as we usually do, go across the street. Very nice restaurant. We have dinner, kind of unwind, have a couple of beers, have a nice meal before we just go, you know, we got through it. I watched you, Satori, get chastised a little bit by the owner. Across the dinner table, we were all pretty, we couldn't figure it out. I mean, we were just kind of like, what is happening here? What is going on here? And you were getting taken to the woodshed a little bit here because of a TikTok you guys did. That was comedic. It was hysterical. As a promotion to the house, it was funny. It added a little levity, a little bit of humor, get rid of all this, ooh, look out for the demons. And apparently she had a problem with that. I assume it's because she thought it was disrespectful. I mean, just like nod your head if I'm going the wrong way, tell me.
It was because it's apparently was violent, but it was a similar theme to a previous video. It was literally the same thing as a previous video. So the reason the disagreement came about in front of everyone was because I said that I don't understand, because the last video was the same thing technically, and it didn't go over well.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't she say that there was a narrative that needed to be done first?
Yeah, there was a narrative that had to
It was strategic.
Yeah.
It had to be a strategic thing. For TikTok needed to be a strategic marketing narrative
algorithm
plan, something.
Yeah, and
Right.
because it was not what was wanted at that time, and I tried to say like I don't understand, it became a disagreement.
Yeah.
So as you can see, Satori was chastised for the comedic TikTok that she did. It was just a joke, and she didn't really there was no forethought behind it. It seemed like it was just a quick little funny video that everyone else seemed to like and enjoy. It was just like a funny thing. But at least for Jacqueline, she did not agree with it because it didn't go along with her strategic marketing narrative for the algorithm. I guess she had like a certain plan. And with that being said, I remember seeing a live stream. I saw it super late. I saw it over the weekend. But to me, it was interesting. Maybe you guys had heard it already. But basically on Jason Hall's live stream from 7 days ago, so like about a week ago, he had mentioned something very interesting that kind of has to do with this. So let's listen to that.
I mean, it's crazier and crazier. So we'll see where it ends, or if it does. But I mean, I'm just getting tired of being accused of assassination plots and everything else.
Come on. I mean, that whole thing. When you sent me that video, you're like, she thinks this is me, and we're looking at it. We're like, what?
And then I question if she really thinks it's me. So I agree. I think assistance is definitely needed, but
yeah,
then sometimes I wonder if it's more of like some highly intelligent plot. So
are you suggesting that maybe there's actually some type of method to this madness? Is that what you're thinking?
I think there's definitely some madness, but it's like, because bottom line is not paying the people or employees and stuff. That's definitely going to come back to bite her. But I wonder on the other things. And then there's just random videos being posted throughout the day, and I don't know, some strange stuff. But
as you just heard on Jason's live stream, it seems like him and his buddy do believe maybe this could all be part of like something bigger, method to the madness. Maybe there is something behind, maybe there's a narrative going on behind that we do not know, maybe we aren't aware of. Just food for thought. All right, so this has been kind of circulating a lot. I feel like I've heard this a lot, either on my channel, other channels, a lot of rumors, speculation, allegations, but they finally addressed the elephant in the room. I feel like this has been like the main topic, essentially, where a lot of people believe this is paranormal, maybe it's some type of possession, essentially. So here they are talking about the elephant in the room, possible possession, and maybe the house is affecting or things like that. So let's see what they had to say.
What I found frustrating was I think that she was willing to listen, but I also don't think she technically took it in as advice. She always felt like she was, I don't want to, not stronger, like she
knew better. I mean, you're talking about somebody that's been doing this for 41 years.
I just always got the impression that she was too strong for that. Like nothing was going, all you have to do is put up your wall, stand your ground, and nothing can get by you.
She told Aaron when Aaron was getting messed with, oh, just tell him to fuck right off. Just
you're a guest here.
You're oh my God. And I'm like, I lost my
And I'm like, what?
You don't do that.
Don't do that.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, you don't understand the energy that's in this house.
She was very strong-willed with that, though. Like, it was very, like, just put up your wall and you demand what you want them to do and they'll listen. And it's just, like, it's not how it works. Like, she definitely was willing to listen to advice, I think. But I think as time went on, she felt like she was in control.
I mean, is it really surprising she told Aaron to just tell the spirits basically to fuck right off? That'll just fix the issue. Why is energy affecting you? You're stronger than that. Just tell them to leave you alone. Like, because honestly, if they're really these type of like dark energies, maybe certain spirits that to not mess with, right? And you believe in the paranormal, that would be the last thing you want to do, is basically tell them to F off, right? Corey and Jen also mentioned that it seemed like she was too strong for the energy that was in the house. Like, I know we've all heard Corey, I think John Huntington as well, where they felt like they were being affected by the house, so they could understand where Aaron was coming from. But for Jacqueline to tell them, hey, just tell the spirits or the energy or whatever to F off, like, I don't know. I'm not too surprised. I mean, we've all seen her Facebook posts everywhere. Like, that is the highlight of the post. The next part of this live stream that I wanted to show you guys was actually very interesting to me, because this is something that I always thought. I didn't know this information. Like, there was like a lot of like fine print essentially where their video and like anything you post that had to, any posts, footage, anything basically had to be pre-approved by them before it was posted. It was like that video review section when you sign up for the CONjuring house. So let's see what Aaron had to say about this, because I know I assumed that, hey, it was very much possible that you could film everything, record everything, and once it went to video review, they could just be like, no, we don't want you to post this. I know a lot of people were talking about this, and especially Side Eye Guy. So let's just play the clip and see what she had to say.
Can I also bring up one other thing I thought of? Because I know Jen and I have both sort of discussed this as well. Like, I know a lot of people have had a lot of grief about what they assume the video review project was for creating content and getting it through the gatekeeping system, as it were, at the house. I wanted to clarify a couple things. I think Jen will back me up on this. And I can only speak for myself and Jen too in this. When we were doing video reviews, we are not concerned about what you're picking up. We are not touching your evidence. If you get demon on an Estes session, we're not going to tell you what to put in there. The video review purpose specifically was to make sure that the history was accurate. There was a podcast, something I reviewed a while back, and they were very much going down a rabbit hole that was intentionally the wrong story on purpose. And so that's the only time we really ever step in. If you're trying to address something that's just flat out not true, then that's what it was. Really more of a parameter to make sure that the history was respected as it was known at the time. We weren't sitting there trying to get people to take this out, take that out, because it's not the narrative. And it was really, the video review process was strictly for created content, your YouTubers, people that were doing voiceovers, podcasts, things like that. If you were in there just investigating with your group and you took a bunch of evidence, put it out there. Nobody cared. But that's another thing I kept seeing consistently, was that people were like, oh, every video has to be reviewed. No, that's only for content creation, flat out. And we literally just were checking for historical accuracy. Or if you're flinging your camera around filming the neighbor's house, things like that. The neighbors don't want to be on YouTube. They don't want their house shown. So we're looking more for things like that. It was never about, making you toss what you're getting, calling you out on your evidence. It was literally historical accuracy, protecting the neighbors, and like not banging on furniture, things like that.
So this was like a very valid point that Aaron actually brought up, because I know this has been brought to question a lot of the times. This is something I just assumed as well, where you could literally post a video, maybe you want to post it on YouTube or whatever the case is. You submit your video or recording or whatever you do, submit it in, and then it gets reviewed, and then they say, no, you can't post this. And then what can you do at that point? You spend all that money to go there, investigate, do all these things, and then someone could potentially tell you, you can't upload this. But I'm very happy she clarified this, because this is something I did not know. I just assumed, they could easily just tell you, no, you can't post it anymore. Very valid, and I just wanted to put that out there because I thought that was very interesting and something I definitely did not know. So I'm very happy Aaron clarified this for us. I think we've heard this plenty of times already, but Aaron basically just reiterates that, hey, we were not fired by Jacqueline, we essentially resigned. And so Aaron also showed like email receipt of this claim, essentially, where they did resign back in April, I think, and then they stopped working at the Conjuring house in May. But she also wanted to put this out there because there's still a lot of people thinking that they were fired, due to the Facebook posts that are on Facebook right now from Jacqueline, but they were not. They did resign. So I just wanted to show you that right here. This is the actual resignation email that was sent April 26th of this year. Hello, I hope you are doing well. As I know the situation must be extremely tough, and I'm really sorry we are meeting this way. I spoke to Jacqueline yesterday in regards to the business. We know that Jacqueline often does not remember conversations, so I wanted this in writing in case that happens. The following staff members gave the resignation yesterday to Jacqueline through me, since she has my number, and that will take effect Friday, May 3rd, 2024. So they basically resigned quite a while ago, and they were not fired, as was said in the Facebook post. And this was from Aaron Bush, Cody Desbian, Satori Hall, Steve Mills, Reed Boatger, I hope I said that right, and Kevin Martinek as well. After 11 a.m. on Friday, May 3rd, we will no longer be working for the Conjuring house. I explained to her that she has no coverage for the house or email and admin. From that point on, we have done our absolute best to manage this for her for the past 6 months and to keep this away from the public. So I will say they did a very good job keeping this away, because none of us knew. None of us knew until there was a public Facebook post put out, what was it, like a month ago, 2 months ago, quite a while ago, but it was put after they had already resigned. They weren't working there anymore. It was very out of the blue. But yeah, they definitely resigned. So I kind of want to end this video essentially with two things that I had seen and I kind of wanted to point out. So we are all well aware that when it comes to Facebook and her posting, she is constantly editing, changing things up. And when I came back to see this post, I had seen that it was changed again. So I might re-up, like if any more changes put up, I'll put the most recent one. But this is basically what it says as of today on the Facebook page, and I just wanted to show it to you guys because to me it was very interesting the way it was worded. So maybe you have noticed this, maybe you have not, but let's just read it together. All right, I am Jacqueline Marie Nunez, the owner of the Conjuring House. I was instructed to write my full name so that this post reaches more viewers. I am not speaking to the paranormal community. I am utilizing our fame as the most famous haunted location on the planet to begin some disclosures. I have already been told that the people reading our page is actually in the millions. Isn't that interesting? I mean, you shouldn't be really surprised because this has hit like nationwide news coverage. Anyways, I am representing views and facts that I have researched for years. I also have been informed of upcoming disclosures by multiple sources over the last 10 months. Let the games begin. Let the games begin. Interesting. No, this post is directed at immoral people who have in the past and who continue to this day to engage in immoral acts, make unjust decisions, and or ignore bad behaviors that only hurt people around the effing world. Then at the very end, let's see. I mean, all the hashtags. So, not the New World Order, Queen of England, King of England, Nip Monk. Okay, the NCAA, NFL, NBA, American Volleyball, World Cup, Olympics. Okay, cool. So let the games begin in her own words. And another thing I wanted to show you, the second part I wanted to show you was actually a news article from Boston. And this had to do with the Q&A with Jacqueline Nunez. This was back in 2016, I believe. So through my research, I found this article. If anyone else has shown this already, please let me know down below. But this is something I found and I thought it was very interesting. One question in particular really spoke out to me. So let's read that question together. All right, so Q&A Boston developer Jacqueline Nunez. Let's see. So this is, yeah, what I say. Yeah, so this is from May 24, 2016. Quite a few years ago. So there's a lot of questions that they ask her. but the main one that really spoke out to me was this one down here. Let me see where it's at. So this one right here. After 13 years, have you discovered the secret to getting respect? Okay, valid question to be asked. Let's see what Jacqueline has to say. I have very, very high expectations of my crew. I have no tolerance for complaining on the job site. If they start complaining, I tell them to stop crying and write about it in their diary that night. Really, I don't want to hear it. So to me, just in my opinion, but if my boss were to say something like this, I feel like it speaks volumes. And this was from 2016, and this is what she told them. Like, she didn't have to say this specifically. She knew this was going to be posted, but like, it screams a red flag. I tell them to stop crying and write about it in their diary. I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't know, man. That's just such a red flag to me, having a boss like that. So the whole situation with the Conjuring house is ongoing and probably will be ongoing for like a few months or maybe longer, especially with like the amount of lawsuits that are being thrown left and right. But with all that being said, everything being shown, what are your thoughts with everything that's been happening, with all the new things that have been said, or like even the live stream? And I will link that below if you want to see the whole thing, because it was about 2 hours long. So if you want to see the whole thing without me summarizing everything, I'll put it down below so you can go check it out. It was, I believe, on Dead Air Paranormal, something like that, but I will link it down below. I will link down Jason's live stream as well, just so you guys, if you don't believe me or you guys want to see the full video as well, Jason's was live streamed last week. So please let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think of everything going on? Please let me know.